Hey everybody, Jason from Ed Studios. So this was going to initially be a review video for some minis I got from Ground Zero Games. Basically it's turning out into how to play Star Wars Battlefront with 15mm miniatures. So I got a whole bunch of minis in, and I've had some that have been sitting around. So I thought I'd go over what I'm using as my force and maybe inspire you to build your own forces to go ahead and play Star Wars Battlefront on the table instead of sitting in front of a couch. All right. So let's take a look at what I've got, and I'm going to give you the codes and everything of what I got, where I got them from, and these are just suggestions, and maybe make up your own mind. So give me just 1 second. Let's take a look. All right, guys. So as you can see, some of these forces have already been built. Some are in the process of being built. Let's go ahead and take a look at everything. So we're going to start with what I finished first, and you guys might recognize these from a couple years back, or 2 or 3 years back. These are the Stormtroopers by Highlander Studios. They're really cool, really easy to paint up. Basically, all I did with them was, excuse me, go ahead and get the white primer on there, 2 coats. Then did a little touch up with some colors. Actually, only 2 colors, just the red and the purple. And everything else was a wash, and it fills the lines nicely, as well as the lenses on the helmets. So that's pretty easy to do. That'll be the bulk of the Imperial forces. Now this is going to be a Rebellion era game. Okay, not going to be during the Force Awakens, during the Resistance and the First Order. But maybe, we'll see. So anyway, that's that. So for air support, now my son's going to be playing the Empire. He's got this TIE Interceptor, which still needs to be built. He also has the TIE Advanced, which he has built, but I did not get out of his room. Now, these are the 1/72nd scale kits. They do excellent for 15mm gaming. They fit almost true scale. Maybe just a tad bit smaller than true 15mm scaling. But, dude, they are awesome. Great kits. Excuse me. Okay, so now we're going to go into one of the mystery kits here. So this is the U-Wing Fighter. Now, unfortunately, this is a 1/144th scale kit. I didn't know it when I ordered it, but, whatever. So I did an unboxing of that about earlier in the month, or last month, rather. The cockpit, if you haven't seen Rogue One, spoilers. I don't know why you haven't seen it, because it wasn't in theaters, and it's on Blu-ray now. But anyway, spoilers, you've been warned. The cockpit seats 2 people, a pilot, a co-pilot. This model is definitely more for a 10mm type gaming, maybe even 6mm. So it's going to be a little bit smaller than it should be. I would recommend getting the Revell Snap Kit. The reason why I have this is because the detailing is way better than the Revell version. But it also comes with a 1/144th scale TIE Striker. Unfortunately, that means it's going to be way smaller than the TIE Interceptor. Way, way, way smaller. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. From my understanding, there is a 1/72nd TIE Striker coming out. I would probably recommend that. Now, it also comes with 2 of those tanks that we saw in Rogue One. Unfortunately, those are just way too small. That tank pilot is itty-bitty. Closer to 10mm, maybe even closer to 6mm. So if you were going to use that, you can. It's just going to look really small on the battlefield. But otherwise, it's a good starter kit if you want to have air support and tanks. Okay? So it's not bad, But like I said, for the U-Wing, I would definitely go with the 1/72nd Revell kit. Use that 40% coupon over at Big Lots. All right. Don't worry, I'm going to show you the minis here in a minute. Okay, so obviously the Rebels have the sexiest starfighter in the galaxy, the X-Wing fighter. Now this is my X-Wing out of my Rogue Red Squadron X-Wing starfighter special set. It comes with the 1/144th scale, and this one, the 1/172nd scale. The one in the box is my son's. It's not built. We'll probably be building it here soonish, probably starting this weekend. I have a whole video series. I got to make one more video wrapping this up. This kit was a nightmare. Watch the series so you learn from my mistakes, so you don't make the same mistakes. Anyway, so the 1/72nd scale, again, Scales up really nice for 15mm as a true scale. As you can see, I've got the Han and Chewie down there. They're also from Highlander Studios. Boba Fett's somewhere with his Mandalorian mates. We'll get into them at some other point. But yeah, it definitely comes up true scale. It is gorgeous. I love the kit. I just hate the headache that came with it. Again, I got a video series on that. Check it out on the channel. Alright, so let's get into what I got. I've got 2 sets of minis here. One set is from Ground Zero Games, and one set is from Rebel Minis. I'll get into why I'm showing them both now, so you can get an idea of what's going on. So obviously, Stormtroopers, Empire. The rest of these are all for my Rebels. Okay, now there's some stuff going on here, and we'll get into these guys here in a second. So let's go into some of these codes real quick. Now, this is, this first set are the Brethren Command and Comms, Ground Zero Games. Basically, you can use them as Rebel Naval Troopers. They've got that nice domed head on there, the helmet. Really good. A lot of commanders. Really, really nice models. They are a little bit chunky, but you know that's to be expected. That's fine. The next set here, are the Islamic Federation Saw Gunners. Needed some heavy guns. These fit the bill. Now these guys, and along with the majority of my Rebel troops, they're going to get painted in a style very reminiscent of Rogue One, as well as from the Star Wars Galaxy's MMO. If you remember that, look up some Rebel troopers from there. A lot of greens and khakis and yellows. You know, some really off colors, but they look really, really cool. I like them. All right, so next up is, these were the ESU Naval Infantry. Their code is SG15-E12. I wanted some specialists. Now, again, this is before I really dug into what I had available still from before. But I wanted some specialists. And these guys look like they could get deep undercover. And, you know, that cape is just kicking ass. So, yeah, these definitely look cool. Okay. And, again, like I said, I've got a lot of infantry here because Rebels had mostly infantry. Again, these are more Islamic Federation infantry. The difference between this one and this is code SG15-IF10. These have a different sculpt on the helmet, slightly from what I read on the description, than these, the 14s, the SG15-IF14. These are new sculpts. I gotta take their word for it. I'm not really seeing too much of a difference. I'm sure there is once I get them painted. All right, and the last one, these are the 12s, the SG15-IF12s. Again, Islamic infantry, new sculpts. I'm sorry. So both of these are the infantry. This one and this one. Again, they look really cool. You know, they've got that bubble helmet that you definitely need for the Rebel Alliance. These kind of remind me more of the indoor troopers. Not really, because they don't have the same helmet, but you can kind of see them. All right, so that's from Ground Zero Games. And that seems like it's a pretty decent amount for like a skirmish board or pretty much any battle. I definitely need to get more Stormtroopers. So here's where things got interesting. I started looking through all my stuff, and I found these models. Now these minis, Rebel Minis, had something going on, I want to say about 2 years ago, where Mr. Regnar was trying to figure out shipping times across the state, and he allowed, I believe there was only 15 of us, to send in, I think it was $10. And we got a random bag of minis. I got like 50 something minis. They're just all random. My buddy John also did the same thing. We got them on the same day. And I got to thank him for it because I got a lot of stuff I would not normally order. So these, excuse me, are the Earth Force Home Guard. The miniatures look a little rough. They're not. These are more akin to the Endor Trooper and the Rogue One Troopers that you saw on Scarif. Very Vietnam era-ish look to them, and very much like the Rebel Alliance. So I have a bunch of these, as you can see. Let me see. 2, 4, 5, 10, 15, 16 of them. I've got 16 of these. Now, also in that package, again, this is far from everything I got. I got a lot of minis. These, again, are the Earth Force Marines. These guys look very reminiscent of the Rebel Commandos from The Force Awakens. I know we only got to see them like 1 or 2 shots in there, but I can definitely see these working as Rebel Commandos. Now, you might say, well, if you're going to play during the Rebellion era, why would these guys be there? Well, we don't know exactly when the Rebel Commando uniform was made. So, it very feasibly, they could have been at the Battle of Endor or somewhere else on Endor. So, yeah, got that. So, basically, all my infantry for the Rebel Alliance is done. As far as I'm concerned, I don't need any more. I'm pretty good. So now you're wondering about these two guys. These two guys are also from Rebel Minis. What do they look like to you? Well, they're also Earth Force Red Guard, but they sure do look a whole lot like some shoretroopers from Scarif, don't they? So I definitely need to get some of these guys to fill out some of my ranks, so I can have some shoretroopers or Scarif troopers. I think they're technically still called the Shore Trooper. But hey, why can't they be mixed in with the regular Stormtroopers, huh? So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And this is going to actually take me a little while to do because of weather and other stuff and kids and everything. Thankfully, school lets out in 2 weeks. So yeah, there is my force, more or less. Need to get some more air assets. Now somebody, because I had mentioned this before to somebody, they asked how are you going to use the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters? Well, great thing is the TIE Fighters actually have an advantage because they can take up a stationary orbit above ground, basically becoming rotating turrets and whipping the ass of everything on the ground. You saw that in Force Awakens. It's also been shown on Star Wars Rebels. X-Wing has the power and the speed, but they cannot hover on station just to take out targets. They actually have to fly through. So I'm probably going to have to make up my own rule set for this. So basically, yeah, the X-Wings are just going to be able to make one pass. They're going to stay off board, try to hit their targets. Boom, that's it. That's their turn. Versus a TIE Fighter can come in and stay stationary in the air and just rotate and wreak havoc. The U-Wing, on the other hand, is a little bit of a good combination of both, where it can slow down, as you saw in Rogue One, take out AT-AT's legs, and drop troops, go in and out. It's a pretty interesting model, regardless of what a lot of people say. I think it's not as sexy as an X-Wing, but it's pretty damn close. So yeah, these are just my thoughts of what I'm going to be using for my game. And I got to give a huge shout out to all my people over at 15mm Sci-Fi Gaming on Facebook. You guys really helped me out a lot in finding these miniatures. Great suggestions, like I mentioned in the comments on my initial post. So yeah, it helped out a lot. I know exactly what I need to get. I will be getting some speeder bikes that Ground Zero Games released at Salute. They just now released them on the website. So at some point I'll have to get those. Now they're going to be Rebel speeders. They're not going to be Imperial speeders. I don't think anybody has a not Imperial speeder bike available in 15mm. I'm going to have to do some checking around. Maybe the Micro Machines versions, if I could find them really cheap. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Let me hear your suggestions. What are you going to use? Are you interested in a Battlefront 15mm game? Why 15mm? Simple. Epicness and scale. 28mm sounds great. Sure, they look good, but you can only fit X amount of people on a 6-foot table versus 15. Oh, let the slaughter begin. Alright guys, have a good one. Have a safe weekend. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments. Take it easy.